What's up, everyone? Today I'm joined by Analuara from Ride with Rev. Analuara, welcome to the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So just to kick things off, can you just tell everyone a little bit about Ride with Rev and what it is that y'all do?
So our studio is called Revolution. We are a spin studio here in San Antonio. So we work on riding to the beats of music, which is really fun, you know. I don't know many people who like to do cardio, but this is a very fun way where it is less impact on your knees and kind of going running outside. So it's a very fun alternative. I call it dancing on a bike. So if you're into that, definitely something that you should look into.
So just to kind of start things off, I'm just going to kind of ask you some kind of like fun questions so people can just get to know you a little bit better. So the first question here, so if you could wave a magic wand and just change one thing about your business or industry, what would that be?
I think if I could, I would change the stigma behind it, because usually when you hear spin class, I would say maybe more caters to women. So I kind of would just want everybody to know it's for everybody. You know, it's for men, it's for women, not necessarily just because majority of the time you hear, you know, women coming to spin class. I would love to see more men, because the men that we do have that come to our gym, I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing energy. People start to create relationships within each other, and I find that it's a good little mix towards everything. So I would say just dropping the stereotype that it's only for women. I think that would be the coolest thing.
Yeah. And I'm sure like you probably, I mean, obviously you're there like day in and day out. So like you see like the transformation that these people go through, men or women, right? There's like, you know, awesome.
We've even got to the point where in the past we've had our men riders. We've had a couple that have actually become instructors. So it's amazing to see, you know, the coordination of maybe not so much being there to totally, you know, owning the class and kind of leading everybody. I think that's a really good thing to see.
Yeah, it's kind of like you've got them hooked and then like they just kind of keep going and going and going. It's like this momentum that's built up. Yeah, it's a great story. Moving to the next question. So is there anything that's been at the top of your to-do list forever?
Forever, the top of my to-do list? Like fitness-wise or just...
Anything. Yeah, it could be anything, yeah. Business-wise, fitness-wise.
I think top two for business-wise definitely is just to engage with the community more. That's never a bad thing. You know, having more community events, I think that's probably one of our priorities as of going forward. I would say just fitness-wise, top two. I've never been much of a runner, but I would love to one day, if I put my mind to it, I would love to do a marathon. I think that's like the ultimate, like, okay, I'm gonna get serious. You really have to train for that, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I ran the LA half, we ran the marathon. I'm sorry. I was like getting my distances confused in my head. So I ran the LA marathon 2 years ago, and my girlfriend and I were looking to do another one this year, but obviously like anything like
right
with like big crowds and groups. So yeah, it was like such like a transformational thing for me, and it's like one of those nice things that you can kind of like just check off the list.
I feel like it's very mental. It's a lot of like, okay, I can do it, and you really can. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, for sure. It all starts in your head for sure. Is there anything on your radar that has the potential to revolutionize the health and wellness industry?
Honestly, I think with COVID coming into place, it was kind of like an eye-opening experience, I think, for everybody. So moving forward, I think people are going to take health and hygiene a lot more serious than we have before. So with the whole COVID coming into place, I've seen more people walking on the trails or running outside, walking their dog a lot more. So it's gotten people to resort to going outside more than they ever have. So I think it's one of those things where, yes, it impacted, you know, us, but it also kind of made a little bit of a mental shift towards everybody. Like, okay, let's go out. Let's go on a family walk. Let's kind of do things a little more outdoors than they actually would every day with their busy schedules and their busy lives. So it kind of made everybody kind of think just a little more, okay, let's go outside instead.
Yeah, I love that because like that's that's obviously like a really great like positive spin on everything. That's one of the positive things that's come out of this situation because before we started recording, we were talking about how like essentially like no business has not been impacted in some form or fashion. So yeah, it's a great way to kind of think about that. And yeah, so let's kind of continue like on that topic with COVID, because I think that's very interesting. So I guess like in what ways has COVID like impacted your business?
So definitely, I think it just came out as a surprise to everybody. We had heard of COVID, on the news, but very early on in the year, nothing, had come to the United States, let alone to Texas. So I think when things just started getting really serious at a certain point, I believe in March, the middle of March, we said, okay, obviously we have to shut down just like everybody else. That halted I would say our time of when we were supposed to be moving into our new location and when that was going to be built and all of that stuff. So that cut our time short at Revolution in Stone Oak. Then we would have liked to, we would have loved to have a final ride with everybody, or, had like an ending celebration. But unfortunately, because it came so soon and such a sudden time, that kind of had to be like, you know what, it's safer for us just to shut everything down right now and kind of focus on, okay, how can we make the next studio better than we ever have? Whether it's with more safety procedures, because now we have to think about that. We have to think about, a health station, or, now you have to think about, okay, where are we going to have hand sanitizers? Masks, are they required 6 feet apart? So now it's a lot more you have to think about, which necessarily going forward isn't such a bad thing. So now we're prepared for, okay, if a second wave does happen, what are we going to do? Are we preventing this? How can we prevent that from happening? So I think it definitely did come as a surprise to us, being able to have those final times with everybody, then showcasing this brand new studio, to kind of holding back and not having those final times with everybody. So it's very bittersweet, I would say. But I think it all worked out for the best.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned something kind of interesting, like talking about this kind of like potential for a second wave. So is that like something like, obviously like there was no playbook written for COVID whenever it first happened back in March. Is that something that you kind of put together as like a playbook for, say, hey, if this does happen again, we've kind of got a playbook that we can go back to and we can kind of fall back on that, whether it's, during, I know a lot of, like classes like yours, like spring classes or yoga classes, like went to digital. So do you have like a playbook that you can maybe fall back on if the second wave did happen?
So we definitely do have something in place right now for what we're doing for the studio. And I believe that if there was a second wave, we'd continue the same thing. On our Instagram, we're actually doing workouts. So we'll post a workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And from there, writers can still be engaged, can still have something they can fall back on, because as people, even me, if you go to the gym, if you go outside, you're like, okay, what do I do? Like, okay, I guess I'll just go running or something. But at least here, you still have something. You have either a leg day, an arm day, whether you have dumbbells, bands, there's different options there. As well, on Tuesdays, we have a nutritional post that we'll do. So one of our instructors, or one of our ex-instructors, she actually signed on to do this, where she is a registered dietitian. So she'll give you little tips that you can do for the week, things that you can do as a family or individually to kind of keep that health, fitness going, and not just completely stopping your entire life because of this. So I believe if there is a second wave, we definitely be a little more prepared and knowledgeable on, okay, so we do have our social media we can always fall back on. Or, so let's say there is a second wave, what can we do as, instructors and managers to transition in a more effective way than we did. So it's kind of like when it first happened the first time, we were like, what do we do now? And that's where every studio started, just to, okay, we're going to go digital now, which I feel like it turned out pretty well.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds like a very like interesting perspective. It sounds like you've kind of taken this more of like, because whenever we first started talking about the business, it was very much kind of like a spin class or a spin studio. But now that you kind of talk a little bit more about it and what you're doing, like on Instagram and some of the digital spaces, it sounds much more holistic in the sense that, if I remember correctly, you said Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're doing like kind of like strength and cardio type of workouts. But then on Tuesday, you've got this like nutritional, type aspect to it as well. Is that right?
Yes. So I think that was a really good thing. Also, we just keep in contact with our writers a lot more. It's good to, see them. I get messages from all the time saying, when are you guys gonna open? I can't wait to see y'all. So it's good to still have that relationship with them and not just kind of leave everybody in the dark.
Yeah. So as you kind of like made that transition whenever COVID first hit, like what are some of the things maybe that you kind of like learned along the way that you could share with some, some of these other businesses that are, still experiencing some of the challenges today?
So what I've learned is you can never be over prepared. I think this is something that nobody saw coming. And I think going forward, I think we'll be just a little more cautious about things. So I would say you can never be over prepared with anything that happens. Also, one of the best things I think I've learned is, our community, as we call them Rev Riders, I think they were the strongest towards this. We still got a lot of good feedback from them. So creating that foundation with them totally made everything so much easier and so much more at ease, because as an instructor, I was worried, spinning every single day, seeing them every day, I feel like I have, maybe this is like a very big word to use, but I feel like I have an obligation to them. They come see me for a specific thing, and I give them the specific thing. I give them a workout, or, whether maybe they're not there so much for the workout, but they're there for just the mental clarity, or, you had a bad day, you come work out. It's that moment to yourself that I felt, that they weren't going to have that moment to themselves anymore. So for sure, having them message me, we still be in contact. I think that was the biggest thing that I've learned, is still be in contact with your community. Don't leave everybody kind of in the black light. We're all in this together kind of thing.
Yeah. So how is it, so you mentioned, the Rev Riders, the community that you have, how is it that you were communicating with them, whenever they weren't able to physically come into the studio?
So we did do a lot of Instagram posts, of course. There are some riders that I have chatted to and DM'd and messaged. So we do keep track on that. And just, putting out posts, putting out polls, having them, message in answers, or we'll ask them, what do you guys want to see more of? Do you want to see more of some workouts with dumbbells, workouts with bands? Do you want to see more cardio, more leg, more arms? So it's kind of giving them that voice, like, okay, this is what I have at home, this is what I need, so on and so forth. So it's really cool. We've even done, not many people have bikes at home. So we've even done, for those who do have bikes at home, we've done an actual spin class. So that was really cool to see that kind of go in. We got a really good feedback, but for now, I think we're kind of just sticking on the, workout from home. It's so easy. Someone can just go out on their patio, do it. You can just go run 1.5 miles and then do some sort of leg workout, which could just be body weight. So it's very, very easy to kind of get those in throughout the day. We'll do either 15 minutes, 25-minute or 30-minute workouts. So quick, easy, and then you kind of still feel very accomplished throughout your day. Yeah,
it sounds like you've obviously kind of been very successful kind of navigating, kind of these uncharted waters, over the past few months. So that's great. So kind of like taking COVID out of the situation, obviously that's been a big part of everyone's kind of journey over this year. What are some of the other challenges that you're trying to kind of work through at this time?
I think as a business, our biggest, I would say, unknown is knowing when to open. So it's kind of one of those things that we're going day by day as things just get a little bit different every single day. I feel like with numbers always changing here in Texas, here in San Antonio, policies coming into effect, guidelines coming into effect, and then going away and then coming back. I think that's probably the biggest blurred lines that we're just like, okay, so if we were to put a guideline, today, will that change in a couple of weeks? Will that change in a month? So it's kind of just coming up with different plans. I think as a business, to then say, okay, during this time, we're going to go with this plan. During this time, this is the one we're going to go with, or vice versa. So it's just coming up with different options, I feel, as a business to then be successful in the end, to where everybody's benefiting from it. So not only as a business, but as a member. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't want to buy into something that could potentially not be there. You want mm-hmm. to prepare for things to go either way.
Yeah, that's certainly a common challenge that I've heard also, and kind of speaking with like restaurant and like bar owners, with kind of like knowing when to open. And then there's also, you were talking about, kind of talked a little bit about politics a little bit, because I think that does play a little bit of a role with like, you know, mayors, you know, here in Texas and of San Antonio specifically. And then also you've got, you know, the governor has different types of policies. Yeah, there's a bunch of like back and forth kind of going on from like a political standpoint. And then you've got like, you know, these business owners in the middle that are trying to like kind of like pivot and kind of figure out, you know, which way, you know, what they should do next. Or what other challenges do you think that you're maybe trying to work through?
I would say COVID was probably the biggest one. Also, another I would just say is, okay, what businesses are open right now that could help us out during this transition? Not a lot of businesses are open during this time. You know, maybe they were open last week, but as things kind of progress, it's finding out, okay, who can we partnership with? Are these places open? You know, if we need a service from somebody, are they open? Are contractors still working? Are they, you know, it's just a gray area to where I feel like right now it's, yes, you know, the mayor and the governor could be saying one thing, but I think as a business owner, I've seen a lot of businesses say, you know what, I know we can be open, but we're not going to open yet, you know, just for the safety of everybody. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, yes, you could be allowed to open, but as a business owner, you kind of want to protect your business and you want to protect your employees and you want to protect everybody there, to where you just won't open aimlessly and not know what's going to happen. So it's kind of like having the power of controlling the situation.
Yeah, and like, so one of the first things you mentioned was like different partners, and like partners can be like a very, you know, a very strong thing in your business. Like, so have you found like partners to work with, whether it's through kind of the COVID situation or just if kind of normal business? Have you found other partners along the way?
So we actually are partnering up with Jesse James Leas. So he is a champion boxer here in San Antonio. We are actually partnering with them, and we are having this, what I like to call this mega gym. So it's your one-stop shop. You know, you're going to have your boxing, you're going to have your hits, you're going to have your spin. So it's kind of a one place where you can really go and just, you know, utilize the gym, whether you want to go box one day, whether you want to go spin one day, whether you want a personal workout, whether you want to do maybe TRX, we're going to have it all. So that's one of the good things that came out of this, you know, partnership with them, to where we can all pick each other's minds. So maybe they see something that I don't, or I see something that they don't. It's something that we can always feed off of. So that's one of our, I would say, our strongest partnerships. And then of course, you know, partnering up with people locally in the community, helping them out, because we aren't a corporate. We are a local business here in San Antonio. There's only one of us. So it's kind of keeping that community, keeping that local vibe going, that I think that is very important to keep San Antonio thriving.
Yeah. So like, as you know, as we as you kind of prepare for this move, going from Stone Oak to Alamo Heights, I guess are you partnering with maybe some of the new people that are going to be like in the Alamo Heights area as well?
So we definitely want to reach out, you know, to students, teachers, first responders. I mean, they've done an amazing job this whole time. I mean, teachers alone, that probably was one very difficult job. And, you know, first responders being there the whole time. So we're definitely focused on a lot of that aspect of the community, but as well as partnerships. I mean, we love local businesses. We love going to just, you know, maybe another studio, whether they have something different than us. I mean, we're always looking around, trying to see, you know, maybe cryotherapy. I don't know if you've heard of cryotherapy, but something like that where it helps, you know, our clients recover faster. You know, looking at maybe, I don't know, massage therapists, something like that, that can definitely go within our zone and what we do. And, you know, people that we can send to them, that they can send to us, kind of helping hand thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like I actually, that's not something I would have thought of right away, but that makes complete sense because obviously like you're helping people get, stronger and fitter, but that tears muscle fibers, and then, they need to come back and need to do some recovery. So that's actually really great. So like, as I mentioned before, like it sounds like you've got a very successful business. Y'all are continuing, to grow. So maybe what are some of the strategies that have worked for you to attract like new customers and continue to grow, year over year?
I think the thing that probably helped us the most is when we have our own riders post, everything is really word of mouth now, and everything is portrayed on social media. As much as that it's crazy, but people really do like to post their lives on stuff and show people. And if you're feeling good, of course you're going to take a picture of yourself and you're going to say, this is where I go. So I think things like that really do help. And just our little community events of where we do maybe challenges, ride this many times, this is what happens, kind of getting people to stick to something where they feel really good at the end and they achieve a goal. I think one thing that's really good is when we have those like monumental classes where we have people who ride maybe 100 times, 500 times, 600 times, those are just really big celebrations that I think that we do. So just things like that, really.
Yeah, that's really great. And then just if we were to maybe look at the flip side of that, has there anything, and I'm sure there probably is there anything that you tried maybe that just didn't produce the results that that you were hoping for? Like maybe you just took it as a learning lesson, and you're like, hey, this didn't work, we're going to move on and try something else.
I think there's a couple of programs that we've been in. I can't remember at the top of my head, but I feel like going through these specific, as a business, you do want to be involved in so many things, right? But I feel like it's key to maybe just narrow down your focus and to really focus on these specific spectrums of it. Like, whether there's a specific, like, I would say like a membership class kind of thing, book into there, they book through us kind of thing. I feel like it's better when we just focus on a couple things at a time, really put our focus and energy and resources into that than probably doing 100 things. It's a little better that way, just to keep everything kind of a little closer.
Yeah, I think probably almost any business owner can kind of relate to that. Working on 100 things, you're going to make an inch of progress, and if you focus on just a few things, you can make some really great kind of monumental progress in a lot of ways.
Right, because it sounds like a good idea. I mean, of course, as a business, you want to be in everything. You want to have your mark on so many things, but at the end of the day, it's like, okay, you might have your mark on 100 things, but maybe only half are working for you. So it's kind of making that, okay, maybe no, I might not be in everything, but if we can just focus on these areas, we can definitely be way more successful than we were.
Exactly.
And like before, it's creating those partnerships that'll last and that'll be really good for everyone, for the members, for your business, for your staff, for your instructors, just kind of like an overall everybody wins situation.
Yeah. So as we look to forward to the future of your business, both in the long term and short term, maybe what are some of the short term things that you're looking at getting accomplished over the next, say, 3 months?
In the next 3 months, definitely getting our community back and making our riders bigger than ever. By that being said, maybe number-wise, now that we're moving into a new area, it's totally new territory. I feel like Alamo Heights is a very close-knit part of San Antonio that everybody knows everybody there. So I hope that we get to, reach out to those local businesses, whether it's, those little taco shops or, those places along those outdoor seating places off of Broadway, everything like that, to where we can have that really good relationship to where they can say, oh yeah, I know that gym. Yeah, that gym on Broadway, that boxing spin gym. So that's something that I would really like to do in the next 3 months, is getting the community back together and say, look, we're still here. We're here for you. And we're going to be better than ever. We're going to be stronger than ever. And we're going to be more prepared than we ever were, because we know what that looks like. we've been there since March, so a couple of months already. So now we know what to expect if it does happen again. And just know that we're here. We're here for you. We'll be here on social media. We'll be here at the gym. So it's kind of like having them knowing that, we got their backs, and kind of saying like, we got your back as well, because we're going to be here. We're just still going to work and show up. So I think that's the best thing, of having everybody come back together and show up and say, we're ready. We're here to work out. We're ready to ride. So I think that's just something I'm anxious to look forward to.
Yeah, that's a really great, powerful message. And like, how do you see maybe your goals kind of changing as you look, further out into the future, if we're looking at, say, a year from now in, June of 2021?
So June of 2021, I would like to see, at least one of our goals is just, truthfully, one of my top goals that I really want for this gym is I want us to be one of the best gyms in San Antonio, if not the best. I want it to be a place where people feel comfortable in going to, where we have a little bit of everything. So it's something for everybody. And I want to show people, me as being a spin instructor, that, spin is fun. It's different. It sounds like a very, for lack of a better word, a bougie exercise, but it's fun. We have different instructors for everything. So whether you're a beginner or whether you're someone who's advanced, it's very intimidating at first. Like, go into a dark room and be like, okay, I have no idea what these people are doing. What kind of moves are these? Things that you've never seen before. But just knowing that we've all been there. We've all been in that first class. It's intimidating. But just knowing that, someone who starts off like that, at the end of the day, can probably be leading the class, in a couple of months. So it's good to see that. And, I just want to see just us expand to be one of the best premier gyms here.
So what's one piece of advice that you give to someone on their journey to building a successful business?
I would say patience is key. Definitely. It takes a lot of patience. I would say as well is, it never hurts to make as many connections. Connections are key as well. It's as simple as just meeting somebody. It's getting to know somebody a little bit deeper, just like, speaking to you. It just became this thing of, I knew somebody mutual, and getting to know them a little bit more and seeing what they do outside of when they come see you. It's really cool to learn about what people do outside of just, them showing up. It's different than just saying, oh, hey, hi, how's it going? Okay, let's do this. It's getting that conversation going, of building an actual relationship with them, to then expanding, because you never know who's going to walk through your door. It could be a potential partner, for all you know. So that can be something that's really good.
Yeah, that's 100%. I agree with that. So yeah, so what's your why? So why do you get up and do, what you do every day?
So at first, I wasn't always a spin instructor. I worked there just front desk, but it became this thing of like, okay, I want to be more. So then I said, you know what, I'll do it. I'll try it. We'll do this thing. So I did it, and it became this thing where I just became, so addicted and so invested to everybody. It's a very good feeling, and I love the feeling of when I see people and I look out and they're smiling. They're having such a good time. They're working so hard. People have been in the class and they've cried. It's that release that I never knew people actually needed. And it just became more than just a workout. You see someone start off a certain way, and then you see them totally different. Maybe they lost like 30 pounds. You're just like, oh my God, like you had the power to do that the entire time. And talking to the riders now, it's amazing when I still can't believe it, that they, I get sent these messages that are like, I'm the way I am because you helped me get there. Like, you motivate me. And to me, I never thought that that's something I would do. But now it's this thing of like, I want to do that. I want to be that friend, that person that you can see every day, and I'll be like, it's about you right now. Let's do this. Like, nothing else matters. Your phone doesn't matter. Your job doesn't matter. Right now it's you. So I think people do forget that self-care is very important. So I'd like to remind everybody that, it's good to take care of yourself. It's good to say, you know what, this is me. Whether you start off as a beginner, whether you're amazing in class, it's just a good feeling. And that's why I do it. I'm addicted to it. It's a great feeling seeing people like smile and be happy and just have a good time.
Yeah, you're definitely in a wonderful position to help help people see that transformation in their lives. So lastly, so where can people find out more about you and Ride with Rev?
So you can definitely look on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook. Our Instagram handle is at Ride with Rev, RIDEWITHREV. Or you can definitely look us up on our website, ridewithrev.com. There you'll be able to see all our instructors as well as our playlist. So if you're ever curious to see what we're gonna play, we actually have our Spotify playlists on there. So you can click, there's a little bio, it tells you where we're from, and then it'll tell you when our upcoming classes are. But of course, we don't have any classes right now. So you can just resort to Instagram. So we have everything there. We'll post our opening dates. We'll post any promos that we have, all of our personal training workouts. So you can check that out.
Awesome. That's cool. I love that. I love that you put the playlist online as well. So I'll definitely have to go out there and check that out.
Not everybody listens to probably the same music as you. So there's, we have tons of, whether you listen to indie, rock, hip hop, pop, EDM, you'll all find it there.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. It's been a great, just getting to talk to you and kind of learn about your expertise. So yeah, thanks again for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you so much.